But on to playing with the new toys. Let's actually make some art. I recently discovered in cleaning up my desk, and I think I don't know, I was working on something, and I needed a marker. And I dug through all of my art supplies because I had found most of them at that point, and realized that I don't own any markers. I found one black Sharpie marker that I'm almost certain came from when we moved. It was from writing on boxes to tell us what was in each box. That was the only marker, and at the time I was looking for it, I couldn't find it. So that day, probably that night, I went on to Amazon. I got paid. I shouldn't say I got paid. It's so gauche. It's a 3-pay January, which meant that I have free money. That's not really how you should treat your money. We'll get into the psychology of why my brain and money don't work right later. But my brain went free money, which always translates to new art supplies. And so I went onto the internet and ordered the set of Sharpie artist markers. Comes in a red box. I'm currently using the box for something somewhere else. But I couldn't wait for the shipping. It was only going to be shipping 2 days, but I didn't want to wait. So I went to... These were the markers that came home that night with me from Walmart. And they're odd. I don't remember markers. They're odd for 2 reasons. Ignore the tips. That's not the reason they're odd. I don't remember... Oh, it does say watercolor marker. Maybe that's the reason they're odd. I don't remember markers as a kid having the same color as highlighters. And so that is highlighter yellow, highlighter green, highlighter blue, highlighter pink, and highlighter orange. So apparently, if they wanted to release highlighters in all of these colors, they clearly could, because these colors match almost identical to this highlighter here. So I used them in a coloring book I'm working in. They do okay. Water-based ink. It was good enough. It was a marker, which is what I needed at the time. But like I said, my brain also ordered like Sharpie artist markers off the internet. These all came, like I said, in one box. I'm just storing them. It's the creative set. When you get them, you get this set that have lids that look like that, and you get this set that have lids that look like that. That's all the farther I've gotten into these, was to sort them into this versus that. And so I thought maybe it's not going to be so much art as it's going to be figuring out exactly what these do. I do want to find some white paper to do that on. So we'll just do it on this. It's just grid paper, but I think grid paper will make my brain happier. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see what goes on. So this is a J-random highlighter that somebody was giving away at a thing. I don't even know what the thing was. alphabroader.com, made in China. I have no idea. Helpmegrow.org. Whatever company that is. I've also now got a highlighter on my hand. So I just want to do a little test swatch of each of these colors from the highlighter. It didn't even occur to me to think of a highlighter as a marker. I'm sure it is. It just didn't occur to me. The day that I needed the marker for the project I needed the marker for, which right now I can't remember what that project was either. They say the mind is the first thing to go. Definitely my memory for things, I suppose. So, yeah, you might discover while I'm filming any of this content that my brain works like a switching yard for trains. We could be on this track and then I'll even draw you. We could be on this track and then we'll be on that track and then we'll be on that siding and then we'll be on that siding and then we'll be on that siding. But we might go back to this siding and then we might have a siding here and then maybe we'll get back to this siding, but there could be a siding and a siding and a siding. Maybe we'll get back to the original point, but I don't promise that at all. Anyway, this is what red looks like. So we had the highlighter and I guess that's a little more markery. The reason I said this part isn't weird, These are brush tip markers, and I have owned brush tip markers before. Let me correct that. I have owned one brush tip marker before. I was at a Michael's one day and went, huh, brush tip marker, what's that like? And bought one in my favorite color. And I discovered that I really like how you can do super thin lines with them. You can do chonky fat lines with them. You can, I think, I haven't tried, do calligraphy style writing with them. So if you ever get a chance to have some brush markers, they're kind of cool, or I think they're kind of cool anyway. And again, I'm not like an actual artist. I don't know what I'm doing. Welcome to my life of not knowing what I'm doing. But see what I mean? That's highlighter yellow. What's going on there? Apparently that's highlighter red. So let's try some highlighter orange. Yeah, okay. The marker's more orange than the highlighter is. I'll give them that. That's highlighter yellow, though. I don't know how they thought they were getting away with that. I need that tool back. Let's play with some pink here and see what comes up. Okay, a little more saturation on the pink. That might not be highlighter pink. It just looks like highlighter pink. And we'll go with the blue and the green. And blue. A little more saturation than the highlighter. All right, these markers are forgiven. With the exception of the yellow. They are actually markers and not highlighters. So anyway, let's swatch the rest of these out, and then we'll get into the Sharpie creative thingies and see what those look like. Yeah, I do that. I make random stray sounds. You'll get used to it. Do 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 do, manop do 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 do. That's the inside of my brain. There's a whole skit where the actress that I know from The Parenthood who fell in love with the photographer guy, she used to be in a show before that I can't remember the name of because I never watched it. Might have been Gilmore Girls. She goes on a thing about, why didn't I wear my blue dress? You wore blue, Casablanca. Casablanca is such a good movie. And I don't remember, but the whole thing she runs through ends with monkey underpants. It's a whole bag of weird up in there. Yeah, that's my brain. So, why is that black? Pardon me, having a moment. I must have done something with that. That's nasty. I need to clean that. I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. Did I get all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. There's even a brown one. Look at that. It's a brown marker. All right. So with this little box, I had all the colors of the rainbow, and I was thrilled. It's good enough. It met the need that I had at the time. It's a small enough container that I can take it in the van with me, which is super awesome. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Yes, I do know Roji Biv. I just can never. And indigo is hard to. I haven't figured out what indigo is yet. Anyway, just got a black and a brown, and then these 4 colors that don't fit the Roji Biv. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm loving it. All right. Anyway. This is there's a specific community of people who will know why that's awesome. Oh, wow. There's actually 2 specific communities that will know why that is awesome. And now that I look at that, I love the fact that these are the 3 random extra colors they decided to go with. And let's see if I can recreate it. It's been a minute. I don't remember I don't remember which one's to the left and which one's to the right. I'm not even sure that's how it looked, but anyway, it's like that. Yeah, something like that. So if that vague symbology means anything to you, welcome. Yeah, it's been a minute. I haven't seen that symbol in some years. And I don't think I drew it right, but whatever. It's neat. My life is Reggie Biv, and occasionally purple, pink, and blue. Oh, and my favorite color is green. So I'm thrilled that they gave me 2 greens in the same box. It's pretty cool. I will keep those. Well, that was always going to be the plan. Like, I'm ever going to give up an art supply. Right, setting that aside, so I need to clean that later. Right, so let's break into these Sharpie markers and figure out what these are all about. These ones have, I don't know, are these also pink? Nope, these are bullet tip. Okay, cool, I can work with that. So let's see if I can put them in Reggie Biv. Not that it matters, but let's just see if I can. We'll call that red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. All the other colors. They're just more chiffon-y, like seafoamy. I don't know. We'll see what we get. So we've got, ooh, that's a lovely, like, peachy, skin tony kind of color. Dig that. This is apricot? I don't know. They're definitely not your standard, these kind of colors, which is great. They're a different sort of marker altogether, but they're also giving me totally different colors. So I like that. That's a lovely yellow. They don't quite smell like a regular Sharpie marker. Not that I want to sit here and get high off my markers, but ew, ick, yuck. Ugh. Yeah. Ooh. That kind of, I could get way too high and or dead sniffing, huffing markers. The standard Sharpie that you buy in the hardware department has that smell. Oh, gross. Should not huff the markers. But the Sharpie Creative markers, they don't have that smell. That's kind of awesome. And I also just noted that here on the side it says store horizontally. So store them that way. Do not store them this way or that way. Those are both bad. Store them this way. So just so you know, that's what the Sharpie Creative markers say on the marker. So interesting. And these are meant to be an art supply and not a industrial strength brain damage. Remind me not to huff markers going forward. Ooh, I like that. Did I mention green's my favorite color? Look at that. Ooh, that's a happy Heather sound. They also have like a minty chiffon green. Ooh, look at that. That's so cute. I love it. I love it, love it. I like it, like it, like it. I like to move it, move. That's not true. I don't like to move it at all, but I like the greens. Loving all the greens. Anyway, back to the blue. All right. So this is, I like these. They're not like in your face, like these are in your face. These are not. This I'm digging it. And a purple. I love that they don't smell like industrial chemicals. That's very pleasant. All right, now all the other colors that they didn't intend for me to Reggie Biv. I don't know why I have some. Ooh, that's like a gold color. Interesting. I will do a proper swatch card of these later. I kind of do know vaguely how to do that. I think, sort of. Where did I throw my watercolors at? Yeah. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but I bought watercolors at one point in time, and I needed to know, like, how they break. And so I went through and assigned a name to each of the colors from my watercolor set. So I do actually know how to properly swatch something. But that's not what this is. I'll properly swatch probably off camera. That sounds tedious to me. But it sounds, if I were a person viewing it, I would find that tedious. So I'm not going to put you through that. I kind of like this, though. It's a skin tone for somebody, possibly me. If you have a tan, it's a skin tone. Yeah, because that's the skin tone of my hands, not the skin tone of my... I have pasty white skin. Who are we kidding? But my driver arm has a nice tan. Anyway, that's like, oh, it's almost like a I wouldn't have called that coppery. That's like a copper tone skin, but this has a chocolatey skin tone. These are I'm getting skin tone off of these. I'm digging the skin tone of those. Those are neat. So let's see, there's a blue. Ooh, that's like a good water sky kind of blue, like water sky kind of blue, like that. This is more of that denim navy. It might even be a maker's color. Is this pageant blue? Somebody let me know if that's pageant blue. It kind of looks like that. That's what I'm going to call it. It's pageant blue now. What's the other one? Bright chartreuse. We haven't found bright chartreuse yet. That's pretty close, though. Maybe I'll do my maker's color combo with my newly found creative markers, since they seem to actually do the colors of the color combo. Yeah, we'll keep those out. That might be a thing. I don't know. We'll see. And a purple. Where are we going to put this purple over there? That's wild. Those two purples are super close in color. Those are almost like you would find both of those shades of purple on a lilac bush. Not that I know from lilac bushes, but that's apparently my partner's his favorite flowery kind of things. Anyway, those are the bullet tip of the Sharpie Creative markers. And I'm going to put them back in the bag so that I don't get them mixed up with each other. Sure. Yes, I do sound effects. I don't know why I started doing that recently. It makes me happy. Speaking of sound effects, I don't have ADHD. Honest, I don't. Not true. I am actually probably going as an adult to get evaluated for that. Not that it matters not that it matters to me or for me. I've been starting to pull in pieces of ADHD assistive devices like calendars and to-do lists and whatnot, because those are free and they don't cost a therapy visit. And I think those kind of tools can benefit you whether you carry whatever diagnostic label they're affiliated with or not. Whatever helps you make it through the day, you know? But jumping back onto another thought, I went, ooh, sound effects, and then didn't follow that thought. I acquired this fidget toy at a convention recently, and it does lots of cool things you can do like that, and it makes neat patterns. It goes up and down. But my favorite part, and you have to hear this, I'm going to bring it up to the microphone so you can hear it. It reminds me of Pac-Man eating the dots. I love this toy. Anyway, back to the markers. See, I told you I'll bring it back. It just takes me a minute. And I really should get evaluated for ADHD because I legit might have it. Right. These are, I think they're brush tip. Let's pull that out and find out. Yes, these are brush tip. Fantastic. Because I do love me some brush tip now. These also say horizontally, for best results, shake before use. So let's give them all a shake. You don't want to watch me shake them all. I will shake them individually because it'll be less annoying. Put them all up so I can figure out what color they are. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, white, gray, so that's nice. And then whatever they think those colors are. We'll get back to those. So let's do our Roy G. Biv test like we did before. We've got red. So we'll run that up here with the red. Slightly different tone than we were getting with the King art, but that's a good thing. This is more like I would expect to find on a rose. So that's nice. I've got an orange. We'll compare that to our orange over here. Yeah, so you can see the throughput on the orange. Actually, I guess it's not fair that I'm comparing these to the King Knight ones. But the King Knight are also brush markers, so um, you'll have to just imagine that they're nearby these. I don't even consider these to be proper Roy G. Biv colors because they're just slightly not. And you can see that by the plastic on the end, that they're not even trying to be Roy G. Biv. They're trying to be what they are. And that's okay. So orange, red, orange, yellow. And we'll compare that to the highlighter yellow. No, see, this is a proper yellow. Highlighter yellow, proper yellow. Super hyped about that. I appreciate that they had a proper yellow in there. Let's see how the green came out. Green. It's okay. I like this one. This one's my favorite. That one's their favorite. I have favorites. What if I swap it for a different green? No, because that's clearly the one they mean to have be green. Unless I misplaced one, which is totally likely. Yeah. Let's give it a better shake, see what happens. Yeah, I don't know where that one came from. Like that better. It's like phthalo green. I don't know. I just used a big fancy word. The word phthalo. I don't even know what it means. Someday I'll be a real artist and I'll know what these terms all mean. Let's go with the blue. We'll compare it to the blues down here. Oh, see, that's lovely. That maps to the King Art brush that's up here. Yeah. See, that's a lovely, blue. That's what I think of as Crayola blue, Anyway, I love that one. That was nice. And I love the yellow. So happy about those. Let's see what they give me for purple. Show me purple. That's all right. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm sniff testing the brush markers. They are also not gross like the industrial black ones. So that's good. But yeah, I've got 3 whole different kinds of purple here, and none of them are really the tonal match for the King Art purple. So appreciating that. That's nice. It's a little flat for me. I like the brightness of that. But that's okay. Let's see how the black orange. Seriously, let's see how the black, white, gray work out. Oh, right. Shake the thing. Ooh, hey, I can shake 3 at once. There we go. All right, so there's the black. That's cool. Here's the gray. A legit gray. I appreciate that. Are we going to be able to see the white? Probably not. But, well, it might, because I've got the blue grid paper. Let's see how that does. Nice. It covers over the grid, so that's cool. But here it is on the white paper, or on the brown paper. That's a pretty legit white. In fact, yeah, buddy. When you get into trying to find a white pen, I can't even tell you how many pens I've gone through trying to find one that wrote. The very first one I picked up was Art Alternatives, and it did that, which is awful. And then I picked up, I think the Uniball Signo was the next one I picked up, because everybody had said, ooh, Uniball Signo, they're amazing. So I picked up a Uniball Signo, and better than the first one, still kind of crap. Then I bought a Jelly Roll 10, because people have, there's Uniball Signo fans, and then there's Jelly Roll 10 fans, so I bought a Jelly Roll. And the Jelly Roll is working the best for me. But let me tell you, if I had had this Sharpie Creative white marker 100 times 100, I would use that instead. Because that's solid. Look at that. That's awesome. So yeah, for those of you trying to find a white pen that works on your multimedia, skip all that BS and get a Sharpie Creative marker brush tip white. That's the bomb now. That's going to be my go-to white going forward for multimedia, because banging. All right, anyway, that's kind of off the point. But yeah, I've also been through my own white trials, and here they are. And Sharpie Creative Marker is the way to go. Anyway, that was an aside. But an important aside if you care about that kind of thing. Right. 3 more colors in these. Nope. Gotta shake them. Forgot to shake them. Shake, 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 shake. All right. Now we did the thing like they told us to do. And we have teal. I don't know. The first green I wrote with, apparently. I like it. I'm not psyched by the fact that the cap doesn't match the color of the marker. That's weird to me. But it's alright. I would use that green, you know? Heck yeah. I've never met a green I didn't like. I'm not a huge fan of khaki, but it's got its purposes. Let's see what kind of thing this is. That's giving me seafoam. If you grew up in the 70s, seafoam was a color. And that's given seafoam for me, which is both good and bad. It means if I'm doing a water scene and I want... Oh yeah, actually if I want... I was up in Alaska, and in Alaska, you'll hear me talk a lot about Alaska because I loved it and had a great time. There's a thing that happens in Alaska, and I will use markers to demonstrate the thing. Which one is the brown marker? There's a thing that happens in Alaska where the rivers that come down off of the glaciers, not off the glaciers, there are 2 kinds of rivers that come down in Alaska. And there's the ones that come down brown, and those all have the tannins in them from the pine. So pine tannin rivers are brown. If you live up in Wisconsin, northern Michigan, anywhere that has a high alpine kind of count, you're going to be used to seeing brown rivers. They look like tea. But if you live up in Alaska, you end up with rivers that also come down that are not that color. Where'd the other marker go? Yellow. That's what I get for moving things around. Other rivers that come down, and they're this color. And these are your glacial runoff rivers. They have this interesting greenish blue color to them. And it's the minerals and stuff coming down from the glaciers. They have this really green color. So when you're looking around in Alaska and you see a brown river, that's a pine-fed river. And if you see this bluish-green color, that's a glacier-fed river. And what happens is that in the bay where they meet up at with the ocean, I'm trying to find a marker. This one. When they get together and meet up with the ocean, I think it's this one. Yeah. The ocean will come across and do this kind of deal because the ocean has that deep blue water effect. And so if you fly over, what's the name of that bay? If you fly over the bay or the strait or whatever it is that leads to the fjord that Skagway's a part of, you can see both the Skagway River, some of the Pine Rivers, and where they meet the Pacific Ocean. And it's a really fascinating confluence of these 3 colors, of that brown, that green, and that blue, all come together right in that area. I think I still have on my camera an aerial shot of that, and if I can find it, I'll put it in so that you can see those colors all mingling right there. Anyway, that's what that green reminds me of. It reminds me of flying into Skagway Bay. So that's cool. It's, a favorite color in that way. Is that all also part of Maker's Color? No, I think the other one's a purpley color. Anyway, those will be fun to play with. And lastly, the pink one is, ooh, that's lovely. I like that. I like that better than that, even though they're really close in tone. I like this one a little better. So yeah, those are all the fun new marker colors that I get to play with. Woohoo! Let's commit some art, because that was more like playing with the markers. I have markers now. I'm super thrilled about that. I don't remember what I wanted or needed them for, but now I have a ton of them. And that's the color palette of markers I have available to me now that I did not have available to me 3 days ago, or a week ago. All because I went, but I must own markers. Why don't I own markers? I'm a mixed media studio artist and I have no markers. This must be fixed. That one's not going to live there. That one's going to live with all my white things so that I don't get frustrated at the fact that I don't have a white thing that works. And the rest will go in here. And be markers. Okay. Yes, I'm keeping them segregated from their brothers and sisters. I don't know. It's my brain. It's going to do what it's going to do, but it makes me happy to have these over here, and those over there, and these in their box. Alright, let's find somewhere to art at. You know, I'm not sure I'm quite up to a full project, but I do have this little Pico project that I want to show you. Yeah, I'll show you the Pico project, and then we'll end it for the night. I've gotten to show you some colors. I've shown you the studio. It's been a long video, so I'm going to kind of cut it short, but here's I don't know what I'm doing with this project, but it's free for me, so I'm going to share it with you, and maybe you'll choose to make it free for you too. And if I can find a blank one. Right, that'll work. So Capital One keeps trying to get me to sign up for one of their credit cards. Like, I mean, they're really trying. They would really, 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 really like me to get a Capital One credit card. I'm pretty sure about once a week, once a month, I get a mailer with a fake, and by fake I mean these are cardboard, Capital One credit card in it. We have also gotten one from Credit One, whoever that is, and Bank of America, and I got Get Hospital Insurance through a credit union I was a part of, and this was Capital One, and I clearly did the art on the wrong side. I don't know what's going on with this one. Yeah, I did the art on the wrong side. I'm a moron. I should try to fix that. Or maybe I won't. And so what I've done is anytime I get a really pretty picture, I'll put that on the other side. This one, I need to reglue, apparently. I just liked the stained glass window effect of this particular. I picked this up at a hospital where I regularly drop people off at. And it's just some of their, hi, welcome to St. What's-Its Hospital. And here, have some of our religious brochures. Is there grief happening in your family? Talk to one of our counselors, one of our ministers. I don't know what they're called in a Catholic hospital. Anyway, it was one of those. It was one of those books. And I thought it was a lovely, piece of paper. So I kept that. This was from a travel magazine, perhaps. And it was just part of a jungle. I'm like, that'll work. I like green. This was a thank you note someone sent me. And I liked how there's a texture here you can't probably see on camera. But the gold one is indented, where the rest are not. So I thought that was lovely. We kept that. This was part of a calendar. And I liked the purple and the yellow. And there's a little bit of some kind of pink flower going on down there. That was pretty. It all started because of this one. These are strips that I cut off of a box of pita crackers from Aldi, and it just had this Greek frame around, Greek-esque, or Roman, what, Greco-Roman, I don't know. from around the border. It reminded me of the movie Hercules. Hercules. Um, I think I totally just did the theme from Cuzco. I did the theme from Cuzco. But Hercules had banging music too. Anyway, um, so I pulled these off of the cardboard chipboard that they were on and laid them on the diagonal. And I went, yeah, that's okay. That's the thing. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but all right. And now I have a whole bunch of, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but all right. So that's a project. And this was lovely. How the light catches these trees, just beautiful. Don't remember what the rest of the picture looked like. Don't even care. I just kept the pretty thing. And so it is. It's just a bunch of random pretty things made out of random stuff I find around. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. But now I have a whole stack of credit cards that look like that. Last night, I was watching YouTube videos like you do, and a lady decided she had too much washi tape and some really old washi tape. Apparently, according to her, if you pop it in the microwave for a second or two, it loosens the glue. If you've got an old, crunchy washi tape that doesn't want to come apart. None of my washi tape's that old, but other than framing out watercolor pages, I don't ever use washi tape. So a friend had donated some to me. These bunnies are cute, but other than making a broader line than this width, I don't know what I would ever do with it. But she was suggesting that you lay them down in these big strips, but with like 9.5 by 12. And then after you get your 9.5 by 12 covered, then you cut it down into little pieces like these. And I don't know what she's going to do with them. She's like, you could cut tags, you could make envelopes. She's one of those teacher type makerspace people, YouTube people, I should say. And so I thought, okay, I'll give that a try on one of these cards, and that's how that one got made. Although I did it on the wrong side, because all the rest of these you can still see say capital One, and this is the back of the card. I might try peeling it off, but I think I glued the washi tape down. If I hadn't glued the washi tape down, I could get away with it. It wasn't for those meddling kids. But I'm not sure I can. I don't know. Maybe I'll fix that off camera. And then I still have the two healthcare clubs. I've still got my Bank of America card, my Credit One card, which is hilarious that the Credit One card looks like a Capital One card, like they want you to think it's the same bank, but the name is different. So that was interesting. Watch out for scams, people. So I'm going to call it here for the night. I am apparently not feeling inspired to art after all that chatting, and I still have to pull the videos together and make them make sense. Not that I have to do that tonight. That does bring me to the production schedule. What will the production schedule be for this channel? Like I said, I work full-time. I have a partner. We have hobbies. There's this apartment we have to keep clean. I would say the production schedule is going to be haphazard at best. But any night that I'm at the studio table making art, any night that my partner's at work and I have the energy, I'll record stuff. And as soon as I can figure out how to make my tech schedule videos to release on a schedule, maybe they'll come out on a schedule again. But I would say if you want to know when things are happening over here, set up your notifications. This is not a ploy for help me boost my numbers so I can become YouTube famous. This is, I don't know when I'm going to post, so I can't tell you. Maybe let the notification bell tell you that I have posted something new. But I'm going to aim for at least once a week. It'll probably be more than that. And just because of how my schedule is, it's likely to release at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. So the next day when you get up, you'll be able to watch the thing. Being a second shift worker means that all my awake free time happens between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Um, Later, I'll tell you why that's funny about the fact that I have natural light in my studio that I've yet to see because I work at night. Anyway, this video has gotten really long. I'll try to set a time limit for future videos so they don't run so long, and I will try to babble less so that the talking has a point. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a sense now of who I am, what kind of creativity you can see. You've gotten to see some of my materials that I'll be working with, some kind of artistries that I've done, that I have projects, that I might know how to use some tech, and we'll see how it goes from there. Y'all have a great night, and until next time, this is Heather's Mixed Media Studio.